everyone. Welcome back to Eternal Midnight. And now we're talking not just a movie, but a staple of cinema. The horror classic, The Silence of the Lambs. And here we have the people from Mindhunter and versus Red Dragon. Chad, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up?
Don, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back.
And Ken, how are you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks again for having me back.
All right, so let's just cut the bullshit. Let's just suck this movie off. What do you guys think of Silence of the Lambs?
Perfect. Wouldn't change a thing about it. Like, literally, there's so few movies I can say that about, but I wouldn't change anything about it. I'll give my reasons why.
I feel like it's a really short review.
Yeah, Jose, Ken, you spoke for me there. After rewatching it last night, I've seen it a billion times, and I didn't even need to rewatch it for this, but I had some extra time. I wouldn't change anything. The mood, the music, the cast, everything. It's
music
perfect
is so
across
good.
the board.
The music, just the da na 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 da.
Just that opening scene alone of Clarice doing like the run on her own, that music just perfectly sets the tone for like, yeah, okay, this woman is doing something as trivial as just like running through a course, but the music just says, get ready, sit back, you're in for a hell of a ride.
How about you, Don?
A masterpiece in every sense of the word. Don't quote me on this, but I have a feeling this might be one of our lesser viewed episodes, because honestly, what can we possibly say new about this movie?
There's a few things I can say. One thing I want to point out is I think this movie does a great job, because look, I feel like we can't dwell much. Anthony Hopkins is so damn good. Jodie Foster is so damn good. This movie won like all the big Oscars. It won Best Actor in a Lead Role, Best Actress in a Lead Role, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Director, and Best Picture. Like the 5 big ones, this one won them all. Also, here's something that's interesting. Did you guys know Anthony Hopkins only has like 16 minutes of screen time, yet he won Best Lead Actor?
Yeah, I heard that.
Jeez.
Yep. And also, like everyone loved Anthony Hopkins, but we also have to give a shout out to Ted Levine, who I think is equally Oscar-worthy.
Easily.
Oh yeah. Well, he's just he comes off as a real serial killer in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is scary because Anthony Hopkins is scary in just how cold and calculating this is. This guy is scary in how unhinged he is.
Yeah, you just feel dirty watching his scenes. It's like you're getting documentary footage of like Charles Manson or something, or Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
Just that lotion scene, just calmly, it puts the lotion in the basket, and then she's screaming, and he just like finally loses his shit. It puts the lotion in the fucking basket. It's just like, dude. Damn.
And it's like also the fact. Okay, I went into this movie with like no spoilers whatsoever. Like I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen.
Good for you, man.
You lucky bastard.
So like the way that Dr. Lecter escaped from his prison, and it's like, oh, like this is not his face, and then in the ambulance, and he just takes off the face and kills the medic. Like, oh shit, that wasn't like I did not see that coming like whatsoever. Like, oh my god, the way
that is
edited.
Honestly, that is one of the greatest like escape scenes of all time, and it's done in such a classy way. I don't know what it is, but it's like you can have so many movies of like a room where like a slaughter has happened, and yet somehow this one made it feel so classy. I don't know what it was.
I think a lot of it is left to the imagination. Back to more. We don't actually see him killing the cops or peeling off his face. It all happens like maybe an hour could have passed by between him beating the cop to death and the rest of the people finding out.
It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing. You don't see it, but your mind fills in the blanks.
Exactly. Right. And I think a great scene that does that is the scene where Dr. Chilton is talking with Clarice, and I forget I can't quote exactly the way he described it, but he's like telling her what he did to this nurse, and he shows her the picture, and just the look on her face he describes it in such detail. And normally, like we were saying when we were talking about Manhunter and Red Dragon, normally I like show, don't tell, but I think this was a great example of tell, don't show.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
Showing.
And even like I like how they don't exactly know what Buffalo Bill's motives are until like the very end. It's like usually like you can guess, but like this is like even the way they executed it. Even I didn't know. Even I was.
It was literally the last 20 minutes, half an hour, when they revealed he's making a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's also cool about that is I think this movie's visual storytelling is really good too, because Hannibal Lecter even points out that Buffalo Bill is not a real transsexual, because because like Clarice says, well, transsexuals aren't typically violent, and he's just like, well, Buffalo Bill is not a real transsexual. He hates himself. He's like, he hates himself, and he's trying to be something else. I imagine he's tried to be a lot of things. And then when she's like going through his house, she sees like Nazi paraphernalia on one of the doors. So you sort of get the sense, okay, so that's probably one of his things he's tried to be in the past.
Right. The suspense and the portrayal of suspense and tension in this movie are just unrivaled by other films.
Oh, it's so damn good.
Yeah, I mean the director Jonathan Demme, he hasn't done much movies of the same genre. He's done a lot of romantic comedies before and since. So not exactly what you'd think. He's not exactly like a David Fincher type, but the fly in the wall feel, like Chad mentioned, almost like from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It makes us feel like a docudrama of true events.
Yeah.
The revealing of information, and even the more cinematic scenes, like Hannibal escaping, the way it's handled makes it feel believable.
Yeah. And also, based on the same serial killer, Ed Gein, along with Psycho. Yeah, Psycho, Texas Chainsaw, and this are all based on the same serial killer. Yeah. One other thing that I wanted to say, sort of interesting that you mentioned that this director hadn't done much other horror or suspense thriller type of stuff, because I found that some of the best horror movies come from people who aren't exclusive to the horror genre, like this, William Friedkin, The Exorcist, Roman Polanski with Rosemary's Baby.
True.
Yeah, it's just something interesting. Like people who don't focus purely on horrors tend to do some of the best horror movies.
And I think one of my favorite scenes has to be that last scene where Lecter calls Clarice. It's like it's you know how horror movies, like so many of like the slashers end on like the jump scare. They have to get that last little scare in. This one,
it was
somehow this one got that last little scare in, but it wasn't. It was handled in a very classy way with like that. Don't bother tracing me. I won't be on the phone long enough. I just wanted to say congrats. And it's just, she's sitting there, doctor, as he's hung up. And it's like, even though Clarice has won the day, she stopped Buffalo Bill. In her mind, she's like, he's still out there. Like, Lecter is still out there on the run. This cannibal murderer is free now. It's like, we won the day, but another killer has gone free.
Yeah, exactly. And I love what he says. Like Lecter's last line is like, "I'm having an old friend for dinner." It's like,
when you see Chilton.
Yeah, definitely the best Lecter dialogue of the series.
Oh yeah.
And if we're talking Silence of the Lambs, we gotta talk about the opening scene, the Clarice versus Hannibal Lecter opening dialogue. Those 8 minutes in the cell, which won Hannibal Lecter which one Anthony Hopkins the fucking Oscar.
Oh yeah. Well, he's so commanding. Oh, sorry, Dylan.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he's so commanding in the role, because you remember Chilton is taking her down. He's saying, "Do not touch the glass. Do not approach the glass. Do not hand anything to him directly." Yada yada yada. All this, and yet she steps up to him, and he's like, "Mind if I see your badge?" She holds it up. He's just like, "A little closer, if you will, closer," and she's obeying him just because he's such a commanding, haunting, hypnotic presence.
Right. You really get a sense of how manipulative and how good Hannibal is these mind games in those few minutes he shares with that senator when he's talking about Louis' friend,
Yes.
he asks her the question like, did you breastfeed your daughter? She says yes, and he replies by saying, they say an amputee can still feel his arm tickling where it used to be. Tell me, Mom, where will it, when your daughter's on the slab, where will it tickle you?
God.
The line alone is so chilling.
Absolutely. Don't tell Hannibal Lecter anything about yourself. Don't tell him your favorite color, okay? Because he will use that to torment you.
Yeah.
And just the way that the conversation of leading up to the last talk that Clarice and Hannibal had when he was still in prison about finally getting to the story of her witnessing the lambs being slaughtered. I mean, just 10 out of 10 dialogue all around.
Yeah.
All of their conversations were just A+, no issues with any of it.
Right. Oh, and I've got to say, people usually pick, Ripley or Sarah Connors. I'm sorry, my favorite female fictional character of all time is Clarice Starling.
I have to.
Well, this version of Clarice Starling.
Yeah, I'll have stuff to say when we get to Hannibal.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster's Clarice Starling.
Okay, like if I had to really pick like 5 favorite female characters in any fictional medium, Clarice Starling, Wanda Maximoff, Hermione Granger, Mikasa Ackerman, and Nobara Kugisaki. Those 5 are top. I agree because the Clarice Starling is really like this version of her. I don't like the Hannibal version either.
Yeah. Well, also I gotta say, what I really love about this movie is I think this does women empowerment so well, because I think a lot of modern movies, the woman will just like she'll show up and just kick everyone's ass because she's femme fatale. But this movie like really shows like, she is smaller than these guys in the FBI. That scene where she enters the elevator and all these dudes are just towering above her, it's real because she would struggle when she's holding up the boxing pad and guys are like punching it. She would struggle and she has to stand up, and I think that does women's empowerment so much better.
Well, and that scene where she's talking to the two professors about when they find the death head moth. I think that's right, the moth chrysalis, and the one guy is like, you ever go out for beer and burgers? Doctor, are you hitting on me? It's like they knew that. It's like, yes, even she knows, yes, I do look good, but I don't want to be treated this way just because I look good. Like, I have brains, I have talents, and this movie showed off all of them.
Yeah, and
in a great way.
And I think also sort of following up that when the doctor, I forget what the exact line is, he says something sort of pushing her off to the side, saying like, hey guys, we're going to handle it. And then later on in the car, she tells him like, hey, what you say matters, and they're not going to take me seriously. And the guy sort of takes it. He's just like, okay, I understand. I'm like, oh, that's a nice moment they had.
Right. Again, I mean, when you get to Hannibal, that movie also portrays the workplace sexism, but in a way more overt manner. Here, again, with the powerful visual storytelling, you see Clarice being towered over in the elevator, or when she's running with her friend, you just see a bunch of guys like kind of like smiling and looking back at them.
Yeah, they pass her easily.
Yeah.
You can see the time period difference of when the two movies were filmed. Also, the major difference between them and Scott's ways that they wanted her to be, and Scott didn't get it, but we'll get to that next week.
Yeah, we will.
So,
I don't really have anything major to point out. I mean, the escape scene is one of the best, and the way, just everything's perfect in this film. I have no issues with it at all. It's one of the best ever made, in my opinion.
I just want to point out a really awesome tense scene that no one talks about, or maybe people talk about, but I'm not part of that conversation. The fucking last scene where they're in the house and Buffalo Bill has night vision goggles.
It's so intense.
Yeah. That's where I was like, holy shit, man. You better get out of there, Jodie Foster. Like, you better get out. I swear.
I would have loved to have seen that in the theaters. I can only imagine that everyone would just be completely silent throughout.
Oh yeah. Also, something I want to say about the ending that I'm not sure if you guys picked up on. Chad, like you said, she takes the call, she talks to Hannibal, but before that, they're at like this big ball celebrating her and this big catch that she made. And I'm not sure if you noticed. Did you guys notice who her date was that she brought?
The bug guy?
No.
It was the bug guy, the cross-eyed doctor who was asking her out before.
I
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look.
Good eye.
Yeah.
I only noticed that the most recent time I saw it. I was like,
Same,
that's nice.
exactly.
He's going out with this weirdo. Also, Roger Corman has a cameo in the movie.
Yes, he does. As a guy sitting at the desk. I forget. Was he a politician?
I think so. It's right before they met the senator in Tennessee or something.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Roger Corman again?
It's a famous.
He directed some of the best D-grade films.
Yeah, schlocky movies. He made what, like 10 movies a year?
Yeah. Mostly lots of garbage, but lots of fun.
But he also helped kickstart a lot of careers of soon-to-be great directors. Like I think
wasn't James Cameron one of his?
Probably. Yeah, Piranha 2.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Dylan, you were going to say Francis Ford Coppola, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he helped launch Jack Nicholson's acting career.
Okay. I know Nicholson was considered for Apocalypse Now, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Corman's a hero Corman literally is a hero to the film industry in his own right. I mean, he stuck with the D and C grade films, but you know what? He was also willing to look at young talent that Hollywood wouldn't look at and give them a shot. And they were able to prove themselves and get into Hollywood like they wanted. So without him, we would not have a lot of people that we have now.
Oh yeah.
Damn,
but
this guy was until now. Thanks, guys.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think we're all just like Santino said. I mean, we're just sucking this movie off. I mean, there's no. I'm at a loss if I try to think of a negative to say about it.
The only negative I can think is the sequel didn't need to happen.
No, it didn't.
Or the sequel could have been better because it didn't come anywhere near this film.
And I believe I'm leading that one off, so I'll have stuff to say about it. But everything about this movie, it deserves all the praise. It deserves its legendary status.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Rarely do I give like a 5 out of 5, but yeah, this one deserves it.
Well, I'll one up you. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
Anything else, boys?
Nope. I'm good.
Nope, I don't think so. It's about as perfect as a crime drama can get.
Perfect filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
So I guess that's it. I had a feeling it's gonna be shorter than the Manhunter versus Red Dragon one because there's really nothing to say. But yeah, it's perfect, and we know you know that. And for those who haven't seen it, yeah, go watch it, please. So yeah, thank you for listening to this. And next week we'll be talking the infamous Hannibal sequel. So let's lead off to that. So Ken will be leading that, and yeah, Santino signing off.
This is Chad. I'm out.
I'm Ken. Take it easy, everyone.
I'm Dylan. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye guys. We'll see you soon.